Hello everyone, it is Gavin Townsend here on my YouTube channel. Just had a beard and hair trim, trying to look good for the lady. Here on my YouTube channel, and it's going to be a very tough time for a lot of people. If you are earning under $50,000 or 50,000 sterling or under 50,000 euros, whatever currency you earn, if you earn the equivalent to 50,000 sterling or below, the next 2 years are going to be increasingly tough. Now, here's why. I'm going to talk basics in economics, and I'm just going to talk from the heart, but also talk from the truths that I see that you can find yourself by simply looking at global trends, Google trends, and not just the odd tinfoil hat conspiracy nut, but actual statistics which are out there for all to see. So, we've had global shortages this year with food production. The likes of Bill Gates is now the biggest landowner in America. There's been a lot of disruption, forced disruption from governments in farming in the likes of Canada and in Europe. We've then got the breadbasket of the world that is Ukraine in war with Russia. If you live in Western culture, it's very unlikely that Russia's going to be aligning themselves to supporting Western culture with food. We've also had India and Pakistan with a lot of troubles with floods. The likes of Spain, as an example, I believe 38% down this year on olive production. We've got a potato famine. There's issues with rice globally in terms of production, and there's issues in America as well. Now, I'm 37 this year. I've been through a lot, I've seen a lot, and it's common sense. We've got a growing, aging population. Now, to hear that food production globally could be as low as 35-40% globally, and we're literally living on reserves which were cropped last year, the year before, and the governments have pretty much let go of care for the citizens that they were elected to support. Because just remember, guys, 2 weeks to flatten a curve. Three lockdowns later, 2 years of tyranny later. Well, this food issue that I'm going to describe is then going to be further hurt because, well, it's going to further hurt people because of inflationary pressure. So as people start to panic, start to hoard more, start to worry more about potential doom and gloom, people are going to naturally hoard more and hide more food sources and whatever else. But then if you look at the likes of the fact that there's been less food made, combine that with the fact that there's been such an excessive amount of money printing in the US dollar, the UK sterling, the euro for free handed out money over the last couple of years, it's going to be of no surprise to me if a lot of food product that we take for granted and a lot of basics that we take for granted could possibly go up by 10, 20, 30, 50%. In some cases, if there's a global shortage on something which is extremely popular, I would not be surprised if certain food types and certain things we take for granted could go up as much as 2, 3, 4, even 500%. I'm not here to scare people. All I will say is I was the UK's largest supplier of adjustable dumbbells at the peak of the pandemic, and I was dealing with metric tons of steel, and it got to the point where it wasn't advantageous for me to go and import from China because of the costs of freight and imports and duties. But then equally, it wasn't advantageous for me to carry on manufacturing gym equipment because the steel, other costs and inflation just got so much so that I was marginal, and I'm actually better off going back into second-hand gym equipment, and that's what I'm doing now. I've gone into the second-hand market because there's more margin. So I saw inflation biting the UK economy on the backside at the start of 2021. Pretty much near the end of 2020, but I really started to feel it at the start of last year when suppliers were putting their prices up. Now, a lot of businesses are starting to give their staff pay rises. A lot of companies are starting to make cutbacks as well. A lot of companies are worried, and with the cost of living crisis looming, with all the fear mongering around energy shortages this Christmas, 3-hour day power cuts, etc., it's going to be a no surprise why a lot of people go into extreme panic mode. I would not be surprised if certain individuals go out as far as maxing out their credit cards just to buy a massive amount of food. Personally, my family and I have got enough to support ourselves for several months. We're not panicked. We've got provisions, and we're not stupid as well. We keep an eye on the market trends, etc. Anyone watching this, if you are on the breadline, earning below 50,000 a year, and money's relatively tight, then you could do some alterations like what I've done to my lifestyle. One is that I've made big changes in my business. I've made big changes personally. I had a big truck, which I loved, but it was costing me, with the fuel increases, it was costing me around £1,400 a month, all in all. So now I drive around in a Mini. I'm quite happy and content with that. Why is that? Because I get to save. And what am I going to do with these savings? Well, I'll do better things with them. And if I need to stockpile food in the future, at least I'll hope to have the cash on the side to do so. Another good tip for people, and I've mentioned this in previous videos, is utilise the likes of eBay, clear out stuff that you don't need. You could then convert it into things that you will need. Do you need 100 pieces of clothing that you haven't worn in the last 10 years? Do you need 20 pairs of fancy shoes that you haven't worn in the last 10 years? Do you need lots of fancy trinkets? Or could you argue to yourself that you could do with food that you use on a frequent basis? I don't want to sound like a complete maniac, but I look at the global trends, and I look at the macroeconomics now on everything that I do. Why is that? Because being in my 30s, I've been through the 2000 crash. I was an observer of that. Didn't really experience from a business perspective because I was starting my first business as a DJ. 2008 wised me up. I sold my house just before. I made a lot of money, but I watched a lot of clients go to the wall. I watched a lot of older people than me lose houses, a whole host of things. There was over 150,000 homes in the UK repossessed back then. So that taught me a lot of wise lessons. I also learned about negative equity in that period as well, and other things that are now starting to come on trend again. I was wise to put more investment into myself around the 2008 period, and I also did a lot of traveling, and I invested in my career and my mindset and whatever else have you. I could see the 2020 crash happening a mile off. I was just watching the narrative late 2019, and as soon as China went into lockdown with the talks of a plague, it was obvious that it was going to then go global with the way the media were talking about it, with the fact that Italy went into lockdown. That's when I made provisions to go into second-hand gym equipment, because the common sense approach was, if people wanted kit, well, they're going to want to train at home because they won't be able to go to normal gyms, etc. So I was ahead of trend on that, and I've been ahead of trend on a lot of things over the years. I don't want to be a Mr. I told you so. However, if you are in the part of the society who literally live hand to mouth, I would strongly advise that you make wise provisions now, rather than do what most people do, and it's be blindsided last minute. So I have to talk about this narrative. I know it's negative. I hope I'm wrong, but if I'm right, then unfortunately a lot of people are going to suffer. So at least if you're watching this video, maybe for your own entertainment purposes, maybe for the fact that you're interested and you just happen to come across my video because of the YouTube trends, I would strongly advise to make some varying provisions. One could be as simple as it sounds. If you are used to buying tinned fish food and you buy a few a week, that could go up quite considerably, because tin as a commodity could go up, and then the import of such said food types could go up as well. But then the demand could go up as well, because people want to hoard more, and so forth and so forth. So that all these different variables would inflate the food price. Tin food lasts longer. I find that tin food can have a sell-by date up to like 3-4 years, and it can even last longer than that. Powdered food works well. The likes of rice, flour, things that are going to be in high demand. If you look at the food sources from the likes of Ukraine and from other regions which have had shortages, rice and flour would be a no-brainer, because I do firmly believe that that will go up by as much as 20 to 100%. Again, some people will be saying you're full of crap, what are you on about? But rice has gone up in the last 6 to 12 months. And yeah, so like I say, and the only reason why I'm saying if you're earning under 50,000 a year is because most people who do live to their means. Well, how do you get those statistics? Well, you only have to look at society, and you only have to look at the likes of government websites to see that most people live to their means. And if you earn less than 50,000 a year, the likelihood is you don't actually have much disposable income, because after you pay for your house, your heating, your council tax, and other variable costings, you're going to have little left. So you're going to want to be wiser with that spending and expenditure. The other thing that people have completely overlooked for next year, it's not going to be the energy crisis. It's going to be a combination of heating, eating, and more importantly, the interest rates on properties are going to go through the roof potentially. I'm 99% certain they will. And having spoken to my family and a few older, wiser people, it's pretty much going to be the 1980s over again, because over 1.5 million people's fixed mortgages are soon to come to an end next year. Oh yay. So what impacts will that have here in the UK? Well, if people have been further squeezed on inflation, fuel costs, food costs, and then their mortgages go up another 10-20% compared to what they were previously paying, it's going to be a no surprise. More and more people will cut back. Business owners will make job cuts, and it's just going to get more and more negative. And unfortunately, interest rates combined with austerity measures enforced by the government is going to have to happen, unfortunately, to bring inflation down. So there you go, bit of an insightful bit of knowledge from myself. I know I waffle on quite a lot of times on my videos, but I do this channel just for entertainment purposes. If it explodes, fantastic. If I get lots of followers, fantastic. But as you know, I primarily talk about things that interest me and things that I look at, and I'm an observer. In this video, I feel like I've got a bit of social responsibility to share to my fellow human beings and my followers from around the world, but also for people who are from the UK, where I'm from. It's the media have got a lot to answer for. The government have been very tyrannical the last few years. We were sold something the equivalent to the Spanish flu. We got a light flu. That's a personal opinion, by the way, but I will finish on this last comment, and that is I haven't had any of the jabs, and I'm in really good health. I've optimized my health through more walking, hiking, outdoor training, more adventure sort of style sports and fitness. I also have optimized my vitamins. I've had DNA done in recent years. So I've done everything outside of playing with pharmaceuticals and toxins. And unfortunately, I am seeing a lot more people with side effects and health issues since they've been taking a particular shot. So I'm going to leave it there. Some people might be turned off by my comments, but call me a conspiracy nut or a tinfoil hat wearer. Well, I like to just say I'm a bit ahead of trends, and during the 2020 and 2021 period, I was probably one of the most popular people in the UK fitness industry for gym equipment. Why is that? Because I was just grafting, helping a lot of people, and I could see it coming, and I could see it escalating, and I got blindsided by the second lockdown. I planned for the first one, and then I definitely knew by the narrative of the media that we would have a third one in the new year last year. And I remember moving over 100,000 kilos of gym equipment the first 3 weeks of last year. So in order to progress in business and in life, you need to try and understand the chaos. I try and just understand it from a long-term business perspective, and there we go. So there's just some personal opinions. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. The number one take from this video is just simply consider holding a few months supplies of food. Perhaps reconsider your ill spending, be a bit smarter, because times are going to get much harder in 2023 and 2024, and I can see a prolonged recession, worse than 2008 crash, borderline depression here in the UK. It might not be a true depression, but we'll definitely go into a recession, and it will be a prolonged, painful period for a lot of people. So planning now, making provisions now, is a lot wiser than being caught blind with your pants down. There you go. Again, if you like the video and you like my content, like what I'm about, give the video a thumbs up, and give the channel a share and a follow.